This week on Outdoor Bound TV, we board a float plane in Armstrong Station, Ontario, headed for remote Kishek Lake with a central Wisconsin man in search of world-class brook trout fishing. We also get a chance to sit down with him and learn a little bit about his unique hobby. What a fish.
Early bird gets the worm.
That's what you come up here for.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Mission by Matthews and Vortex Optics.
I'm gonna be just like my dad, strong like him, smart like him, and now that I have my Mission Menace, I'm gonna be a bow hunter just like he is. This bow is my beginning, my future. This is my mission.
Featuring an advanced perimeter weighted dual cam system, the Mission Menace provides power for the hunt and adjustability to fit any beginner, young or old. Visit missionarchery.com to find an authorized retailer near you. Mission by Matthews.
Don't let this hunt be your last. The tree clamp by Safe Tree Outdoors is as easy as set, snap, and strap. Simply secure a tree clamp to any hang-on stand. Set it, snap it, and strap it in place. The tree clamp is the safest, easiest way to hang any stand. Set, snap, and strap. Order your tree clamp at safetreeoutdoors.com.
Kalen's has been catching multi-species fish for over 30 years. From our crappie grubs, to our seismic series of hybrid swim baits and grubs, to our jerk minnows.
You can't see that jerk minnow, can you?
To our garlic and salt impregnated wacko worm.
That's a Kalen's Wacko.
Our premium line of Kalen jig heads. Oh, and our original Kalen's grub still does a pretty good job too.
Fish, look at that Kalen's in her mouth right there.
Hi everyone, welcome to Outdoor Bound TV. I'm Kurt Walbeck. You know, when we think of world-class trout fishing, some of the more exotic locations in the western mountain states of the U.S. probably come to mind. But on this week's show, we board a float plane in Armstrong Station, Ontario, a location primarily known for walleye fishing, and head to a remote section of Keezhik Lake in search of world-class brook trout fishing. Let's head to the airbase near Armstrong Station right now.
My name is Ron Serwa from Hatley, Wisconsin. We're on our way to Northern Ontario to fish with Ryan Brady. He's the outfitter with Northern Outpost. Due to the remote location, we have to drive north of Thunder Bay 2.5 hours to get to Armstrong Station. And once we're there, we fly out on a float plane, typically turbo otter that holds up to 6 people and approximately 2,400 pounds of payload. and then we'll fly into Keezhik Lake. There's a couple of cabins, basic necessities, boats, motors, all the fuel you can burn. So we fly up there with our groceries and a case or two of beer and some water and our fish poles, and we eat fish and catch fish and have fun. Keezhik Lake is approximately 16 miles east to west and approximately 6-7 miles north to south long. And then there's a connecting body of water between Keezhik Lake and Lake Miminiska. It's called the Keezhik River, and that contains the trout. And in this particular trip, the interest there is that it's a multi-species body of water, and it includes trophy northern, walleyes, and brook trout. The brook trout are really of a world-class status. We catch brook trout to 23 inches, and it puts them right about probably 4.5 pounds. We're into the inlet going into Keezhik River, and we'll park the boat, walk along the shore, and get to the first set of rapids and start our brook trout fishing expedition.
There's a couple of pools down here that we're gonna wade into and see what happens. What I normally try to do is start out with some of the more traditional baits that you use for a brook trout. Some spinners, panther martin, little meps. So maybe I'll start out with one of those and see if we can get one of these trout to bite on it. Fish on. You can see it's a trout using 8-pound test. I've used 4-pound and 6-pound and broke it, but 8-pound seems to work all right. Got a nice brook trout here, probably about 13 inches, 14 inches long. Even though it's a smaller fish, it still has the beautiful colorations and the caudal fins with the white trim on them. Orange belly. A lot of times the brook trout have a kind of a red belly. These are more of an oranger colored belly. They've got the red spots with the blue outline on them. That's just unbelievable to me. It's the colorations. They're here, they're biting, that's a good thing. You're standing here fishing for a period of time. Normally you're not talking, and we've had several occasions where moose will come along and they'll be right next to us, and sometimes they smell you and then they take off running. But we've had a cow and a calf that came right down into the water, and there's a lot of nature, eagles, osprey, lots of wildlife. I think sometimes when you're, oh, there you go. Oh, got off. I think sometimes when you're lifting your bait out of the water, just like that, and he broke the line. That was a pretty good one. You can see that was probably at least an 18-inch fish, nice and dark, a male, and that's very unusual for a trout because they really don't have that many teeth, but he might have bit that off. Got a bad spot on here, so he might have been biting the line. So we'll get a fresh piece of line and start all over again. They lay out in that pool and they follow it up, and you just never know, so you have to keep casting and keep your eyes open, because you'll see them swimming around your feet. Now I got a little sucker on here. I'll put him on, hook him right through the lower lip there, get about 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch of meat, so it's held on there pretty good. But that fish just stole my bait. We'll give him a little bigger bait. See if he likes that. Fish on. That time I let it sink a little bit deeper, and maybe that's what's going on because there's a lot of current in here. The water's quite a bit higher than it normally is. Let's see if it feels like a trout. Yep, I can see the coloration to it. It's absolutely beautiful fish. Well, I just barely got him too. This hook's not really stuck in him too hard. Pretty, pretty, pretty beautiful work of nature. Mother Nature at its finest. Up and away he goes. Yeah, fish. I don't see any color, so it's probably a walleye.
This part of the river, as we call it, is a connecting waterway between two lakes. And those two lakes contain walleyes, whitefish, suckers, northerns. So all those fish are present in the Keezhik River. And depending on the day, you may catch all walleyes, and you'd swear there weren't any brook trout there.
Now don't go away, because right after the break we've got more great brook trout fishing action from Northern Ontario. We also get a chance to sit down with Ron and learn a little bit about his interesting hobby.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Real Deal Mineral and HHA Sports. Real Deal G2 seeds. The results speak for themselves.
Optimizer by HHA Sports. The Optimizer Lite Ultra, voted #1 single pin adjustable sight for 10 years running. The Optimizer Speed Dial for crossbows, to the yard accuracy with a single reticle. And the Optimizer Horizon, offering unmatched accuracy from both short and long range firearms. All Optimizer sight systems utilize range dial shoot technology. Ask for Optimizer at a dealer near you.
The sun's out, and at Colby Chrysler Center, we're going topless. Imagine the feel of wind in your hair as you cruise in your new Jeep Wrangler. Jeep Wrangler, the exceptional 4x4 whose capabilities breed unstoppable spirit.
Join us for the Jeep Summer Clearance event and get great savings on a variety of new vehicles. One drive, and you'll discover why the Jeep brand is one of Colby Chrysler Center's most popular choices.
Welcome home to Colby Chrysler.
Hi, I'm Tim Rue from Rue Motors. Whether work or play, we have the Kubota tractor or RTV for you.
Rue Motors has been serving central Wisconsin since 1947 with a full line of quality Kubota tractors, mowers, and RTVs. Backed by 4 generations, you can count on the staff at Rue Motors for outstanding sales and service on all of your quality Kubota products at both convenient locations.
Rue Motors. Take the short drive up Highway 45 in Burnhamwood or Antigo.
You know, each year we receive thousands of photos from our viewers of animals that you've harvested and fish that you've caught, and we'd love to share them with you here on the show. All you have to do to be eligible to win is email us your photo or share it with us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And this year you can win some great prizes once again just for sending us your photos.
Prizes include an assortment of musky lures from Nays Baits, a Yeti cooler from Keezhik Service Station, a trip for 2 aboard the Grand Illusion 2 charter boat on Lake Michigan, and this year's grand prize, a 4-day, 3-night fishing vacation at Sunset Cove Resort on Lake of the Woods, Ontario.
And remember, all you have to do to be eligible to win is send us your photo with your name and your hometown. Here are this week's Outdoor Bound TV viewer photos.
One of my passions is collecting and restoring windmills. I grew up in an urban environment, and I can recall driving around and seeing windmills standing up in farm fields. And for whatever reason, don't know exactly why, but that intrigued me. My first thoughts were pretty simple. I just wanted to have one. So I put an ad in the paper, wanted windmill, and this couple called from the Madison, Wisconsin area, and they had a windmill in their yard. The windmill was kind of outside their bedroom window, and it was all grown up with vines. You couldn't even hardly see it, and it was still kind of spinning, squawking like a banshee. And this gal, she was just done with this windmill, so she wanted it gone. We went down there and took the mill down, lowered it down, and restored it very meticulously. And that's how I got started on windmills. I must have about 50 windmills. Metal windmills, I've got metal folding windmills, solid wood wheel windmills, and folding wheel wooden windmills. So it covers the full gamut from the time that basically the water pumping windmills were developed in this country about approximately right around the Civil War, 1850, up until approximately 1950. That's when most windmills went out of production. My passion, I guess, is restoring them back to the original conditions when they were new, and understanding the windmill and their history and learning about them as I've gone along. As we were developing our country, in the early 1800s, people from out east were moving out west. As you moved into the more arid parts of the country, one of the basic necessities of life is water. And if you have livestock, chickens and cattle and pigs and goats or whatever, they need water. You pump the water out of the ground with a windmill, it goes into a stock tank, it goes into a receptacle that you could bring water from that into your house. So now you have a way of getting household water and water for your livestock. So necessity was the mother of invention. Understanding how windmills works is perhaps easiest if you look at this original Raymond behind me, which is a folding windmill. You can see that there's wood slats, and that's what the wind hits and it spins it. That rotary motion needs to be transferred to an up and down motion, which runs a pump cylinder, which is what pumped the water out of the ground. So you got a wheel that's spinning, you got a shaft that sticks out of it. That shaft is connected to what's called the crank plate, and there's a wrist pin that sticks out of it. Now that's going around in an orbit, and to that is attached what's called a pitman arm, which is typically made out of hard maple. And that pitman arm then runs a pump rod, which that pump rod creates a stroke motion which actuates a pump cylinder that's down in the ground. In addition, this whole mill's got to spin around because it's got to be facing in the wind in order to work. So as the wheel is tilted, that naturally directs the mill into the wind. And then you'll notice on the back of the mill coming out from behind the wheel is a tailbone, and there's a weight. That's a counterweight. That counterweight balances the wheel so that this whole thing can spin around freely. Most of the mills that I get are parts and pieces, and you're using just remnants to reproduce the parts. But that essentially is what it takes to restore windmills. You're starting from scratch. In some cases, you're literally starting with just a gearbox, and you have to recreate the other parts from pictures. We've got a variety of steel mills, anywhere from 4-foot diameter up to, I've got an air motor 20-foot diameter, which was the largest commercially available windmill in the United States. So on the property, I've got some wooden mills that are of what they call a folding wheel design, where when the wind blows very hard to govern themselves, the wheel collapses, so to speak. Got some solid wood wheel windmills, and then of course the steel windmills. Behind me here in the workshop are representative samples of windmills, kind of my favorites. Got a Steel Star windmill at a 4-foot blade. Got a Star Zephyr Model 37, has a 5-foot blade. I've also got an original Raymond, which was right from the turn of the century. Next to that, there's a Perkins mill, which is a solid wheel mill. That particular mill was from a family in Iowa, and I have a picture of that family with that windmill. We've restored it, kept everything that we could, and made it look as original as possible, from 1910.
One of the reasons that we fish this particular body of water is because of the opportunity for world-class brook trout fishing. We've done a lot of Canadian walleye northern fishing trips, but this is an opportunity to catch brook trout of a world-class status. Oh, yeah, there's a fish.
Wham! Fish hits, takes off. You know right away what kind of fish you have on. If it's a real hard, steady pull and he starts going sideways, you know you got a big fish. And a lot of times that fish is going to come jumping out of the water. He's ripping off line.
Feels like a good one. Oh yeah. Nice fish. Yep. Nice fish. Oh man. Look at the size of that thing.
These are big fish. They're strong fish. And you've got the fight of your life. You've got to stop that fish because you're in this pool, and in this pool, particular first pool, it's 60 yards wide, and there's debris and areas that if he gets in there, you're screwed. And you have to stop that fish, so you need enough of a rod and enough of a line to stop it, but it's the fight of your life. I mean, it's kind of what we live for as fishermen, and it's just super exciting stuff.
Good dream. Look at that thing. Whoo! Beautiful big male brook trout. Northern Ontario. Wow, look at the colors. Unreal. Just gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful fish. This fish is about 20 inches, brook trout. Big fish. What a day. We've been fishing here on the outlet of Miminisca, and we've been very successful. Caught this beauty, survived the thunderstorms and the mosquitoes, and this is the kind of fish that are available here.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Brewpub Pizza and Nays Baits.
Brewpub Pizza is specifically designed with the hungry in mind. It's big, it's bold, and it's outrageously delicious. Brewpub Latza Matza Pizza is made with your favorite premium meats and veggies, topped with over a half pound of real Wisconsin mozzarella cheese. When you're looking for the ultimate pizza adventure, when you crave a really serious pizza that brings the great Brewpub experience, this is the one. Pick it up today at your favorite local grocer. Brewpub Latza Matza Pizza, the ingredients for a great time.
Handcrafted in the heart of Wisconsin since 1968, Golden Hawk canoes are inspired by the tradition of early wilderness explorers and modern-day canoeing know-how, customized to meet your exact needs with precision, uniformity, and strength. Our unique, full-contour hull design contributes to stability, whether you're hunting, fishing, trapping, or just spending an afternoon on the water. Handcrafted fun and satisfaction for a lifetime. Golden Hawk Canoe.
Since 1957, Meyer Buildings has offered full design and project management for your farm, equestrian, commercial, and storage building needs. Our recreational building line specializes in the design and construction of affordable, remote area buildings for the outdoorsman.
This is my second Meyer building. I've been satisfied both times. Their design assistance, the quality of the construction, and their attention to detail. It's perfect.
At Meyer Recreational Buildings, we offer custom building solutions for all of your building needs. Log on today for a better way to build.
Big Bear Down. Whether you're looking for a sweet recipe for bear bait or quality bear scents, we've got you covered. Big Bear Down offers all their bait selections by the bag, the barrel, or in bulk. From crushed sugar cones, trail mix, and granola to our syrups, frostings, and bait toppings, we've got the variety to keep the most cautious bears coming back again and again. Big Bear Down scents can be used as an attractant or cover scent and draws bears in from miles around. Look for Big Bear Down by our distributing at 2 convenient Wisconsin locations or at a retailer near you.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by the W.C. Russell Moccasin Company and Golden Hawk Canoes.
A special thanks to Ron Serwa for allowing us to tag along on his Northern Ontario fishing trip. And thanks for sharing some tips on how to catch these world-class trout. And we hope that you'll join us again here next week when we'll bring you more great hunting and fishing action from around the Midwest, around the nation, and around the world, right here on Outdoor Bound TV.
How long of answers do you want? Okay, gotcha. Well, yeah, you weren't there the next day when we went, and then we caught. It's all right to use that? Okay, well, just so I have an idea. Your light went off. That's fine if that's what you would like, sure. That's kind of all there is. Okay, well, we'll start and we run through it, and if you don't like it, we'll redo it. Brook trout, I caught 8 brook trout right in a row after nothing. So do you want to hear about that?